What's up guys, and welcome back to this Mercedes Mobility Bus motorhome conversion. So today I'm going to be fitting a lock on the main front door of the bus. Now the main lock on this bus is pretty original to the actual bus itself. It's 19 years old, it's pretty much seized rock solid. Quite common in these particular doors on the buses, just because the locks are at the very bottom and you get all the water running down whenever there's heavy rain. And it just gets in and just slowly starts to seize up the actual mechanism. So I've bought one of these Milenco locks. I'll put a link in the description for one of these locks in case you want to try and fit one of these yourself. Now on here I do have some holes there from where there was previous handrail from when it was a bus itself. So I'm going to be covering that up, because on the inside you get a little handle which can also control the lock and the handle, and that should cover over those holes quite nicely as well. So two birds in one stone. I'll get rid of those holes, and I'll be increasing the security on the bus a great deal. So I'm just going to be lining up the template to one of the existing holes. It looks as though I'll be able to drill out one of the other holes as well, so it's going to neaten it up nicely, and then we'll be able to get the lock fitted. So once this is in place, once the lock is folded down, I'll shut the door and show you. Once it's in place there, when you try and open the door, it'll just be stopping on the actual frame itself. Actually, it'll probably be a bit closer to there actually, so yeah, you'll be able to see once it's in, there'll be no getting inside the door. So I'll get some tools out and we'll get some holes drilled and we'll get this fitted. Right, so after lots of fettling and a little more drilling out, that's it pretty much all lined up. That's the lock. It's just loosely mounted in the front, and I've had to cut away on the inside of the frame just to allow the inside of the handle to sit inside. When I was looking at it yesterday, it looked as though it might have lined up okay, but it just hasn't. There just wasn't enough depth on the actual bars on the locking mechanism itself. So instead I've just got a Dremel out. I've just done a nice little rectangle that's going to get neatened up after the lock's fully finished. But at least with it being in there, it will actually reach all the way through to the other side, and you can turn both the handle and the lock, and they're both operating. Right, so I'm about to get the inside handle mounted, but I've had to go out and buy some longer bolts. I was on the play about with the original bolts that came with it. They just weren't quite long enough. Went out and bought some 70mm bolts. That was long enough for the top one, but the bottom one still wasn't quite reaching the thread, so I've been out again, bought some 80mm bolts. These are pan head M6 bolts. I'll put links in the description for these as well, because the frame on this bus, as you can see, it's very chunky compared to a standard caravan thickness door. That's why these bolts are needed. The standard bolts that come with them will go through the vast majority of caravan walls, no problem. Most van walls, no problem. It's just the fact that this has got so much thickness to the fiberglass, as well as the aluminium frame that makes up this bus door. That's why they're a little bit deeper. So now I've got the correct size bolts that'll finally get in and be able to grab onto the thread on the lock. I can now finally get it bolted in. So let's do that, let's get it mounted, and we'll finally have a lock fully fitted, fully functional, and be able to secure up the bus. So let's get this mounted on. Right, so there we go, there's the inside handle mounted, and as you can see, the lock's popping down and up nice and freely. And then if I put the lock on, just twist the bottom handle round, and then when you fold it back down, you hear it click into place, and that's it, locked. So now you can't physically move the lock. That's where you need the key to be able to enter it from the outside or from the inside. Again, you just flip the lever around, that fully unlocks it, and then it'll just open back up again. So same from the outside, because it's unlocked at the moment, it's free play, but as soon as you either turn the key, or as I say, when you go out, you just flip that other lever around. Then when you lock the handle over the bus door, hear it click into place, As you can see, that's not going nowhere, especially with those two big bolts going through it now as well. And you either need the key to be able to unlock it, or as I say, if you're inside the bus, you just flip the lever around and that frees it back up again. So I'll just shut the bus door, show you with it locked up as well. So as you can see, it butts up nicely against the bus door that's there, and when the lever's down, it covers a good portion of the door. So then if you're trying to open the bus door itself, it's just hitting that lever straight away. So you just cannot open the bus door at all. So as I say, the only way to get back in is to unlock the lock, and then that gives you full access straight back in. So it's a handy little lock for situations where you can't get a normal proper lock in place, especially with this with that type of bus door as well. It's just not going to be a standard type of lock that you'd be able to fit, and you can't fit a padlock type lock, because if you're fitting a lock, it needs to be able to be opened from inside and outside for MOT purposes. So the only thing left to do now is just basically to make this area look a little bit neater. As I had to cut into the fiberglass surround, which I didn't really want to, but again, it was just depth issues because of the levers that poke through from the lock into this handle. They are a set distance and you can't go any further away, so that's why I've had to cut into the fiberglass a little bit. So I'm going to be getting some decorator's caulk. I'll be filling all that in, sanding it down, painting it over just to make it look a little bit nicer and neater. But that'll be getting done towards the end of the build, when there's a lot more finishing touches waiting to be done. So there you go, that's how I've fitted one of these Milenco door locks into a Mercedes minibus. If you're after one of these locks, I'll put a link in the description. If you found the video useful, give it a good old thumbs up. Have a look at my channel, there's loads of content on there already. I've converted loads of different vans and I'm documenting this bus job by job as well. So give the video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video of the series. Thanks for watching, cheers.